This is so cool. We have an amazing program for you today, beginning with the worship. Oh, you guys, we were practicing, and the Holy Spirit is here and ready to take us right to the throne room for our sister Lorraine and our brother David. And Mark and I are both going to join in with the singing as well. So let's pray and get started today. Heavenly Father, we are just so very grateful for who you are. Lord, you are powerful and awesome. You are glorious and faithful. Lord, lead us today to your throne here to worship you and praise you with all our heart. Receive our praise, Lord. Receive our praise. Thank you. We can't say thank you enough for who you are.
We all stand. Amen. There is no care humble to sin's cross. You broke my shame and sinfulness. meditate on who He is. You're so faithful, God. You're so powerful, so gracious and kind, compassionate, loving, righteous, truthful, constant, same yesterday, today, forever. We can stand on You, Jesus. We can stand on Your word. Holy Spirit, just come. Feel us fresh this morning. We need You. Oh gosh, we need You. We need You for our relationships. We need You for our health. Yes.
Cover the earth.
this room, Jesus, every circumstance and every hurt. Healing Jesus in this room.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, David. Thank you, Mark. Awesome, powerful. Honoring of God today. How amazing. Right at his throne. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I am thrilled today. We get to do something that we love to do, and that is to share the most powerful testimony that God has given Mark and I in our life. And that is our marriage testimony. So welcome, Dr. Mark Willman. Thank you for being here today, my faithful, loving treasure. He's a treasure. But I can tell you that I didn't always feel that way. And I'm really, really sad. This morning when I was reading my Bible, I was looking at some of the scripture that talked about how unfaithful that the Israelites were and how unpleased that God was with them. And I thought to myself, that was you. That was you. When you and Mark were struggling. And he caused me to remember some of the horrible things that I went through during that time. And the reason he did that is so that he could bring me before you today, broken from the past, healed and resurrected today. Yeah. So amazing, and I'm so very grateful that I didn't follow through and permanently leave our relationship. We have a testimony that's amazing. We're going to start and tell you about it. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark to get started with that testimony.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, ladies, and Val, really, for letting me come. Not only to come, but when we do stuff like this, it forces us to work together. And that's a good thing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here. Because we had to practice. We had to go over what we were going to do, and so I'm grateful for that opportunity. Anytime the Lord brings us together like that. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but we had to practice. You do this. No, I don't want to do that. We had to divide, and figure out what to do. But it wasn't that bad. But the enemy does want to try and stop us from doing the things that the Lord wants us to do. We have to push through that. Certainly, there are a lot of obstacles for us to come to this point, but we push through with the help of the Lord. So thank you for allowing me to come here. I do want to just point out that we are different. I don't belong necessarily here because I am a man. And one of the differences between men and women that you're going to see here so clearly is I've only got like 3,000 words in my vocabulary. She's got like 7,000 or 10,000, I forget how many. So she's going to speak probably a lot more than me, and that's okay. I'm okay with it. That's who I am, and that's who she is. And, I'll put the microphone. Thanks for letting me.
Can y'all hear Mark?
I could eat the mic too.
There you go. Oh, that's good. That's good.
So anyway, I'm going to probably have a lot less to say. It's just because that's who I am. And guys typically tend to have fewer words than gals. Anyway, I want to start out with this picture. This is our wedding picture. We were married in 1990 on June 30th. So that means we've been married 27 years. Isn't that a beautiful picture, man? Yeah, well, it looks good on the outside. Yeah, it looks good on the outside. When we first met, we were at Purdue University. I just finished my PhD at University of Illinois. I was doing a postdoc at Purdue University, and I was in a classroom of about 500 people. So they were teaching the university computer system. And sitting in amongst all these, undergrads. I wasn't that old, but in amongst all these students. And in comes this beautiful blonde, and she sits right next to me. Couldn't believe it. and she had shorts on, and I was attracted to those legs that she had. Besides the blonde hair, it was the legs that attracted me to her. But I noticed that during the lecture, she kept dropping jelly beans. And apparently she was telling me she was trying to eat the jelly beans to stay awake. And she kept falling asleep, and that's why the jelly beans dropped. But that's how we met. And God really ordained this meeting because we later hooked up again in the lab. There was a lab to show you how to use the computer. Of course, before she left the lecture, I got her office address, and I went by her office to remind her that the lab is coming up, you know. Don't forget. And she actually came by the lab that I worked there. I was in what they call it, a foreign tissue culture lab. And when she came, it was like an angel walking through. Yeah. And so when we were in the lab, I was showing off my computer skills. I was showing that you could talk to the Israelis at Ben Gurion University through, at that time they called it the ARPANET or BitNet, you know. And that impressed her.
Absolutely.
And so afterwards, you know, I don't know if I asked her or she asked me, but she said, we said, you want to go out and get a bite to eat? Yeah, sure, but I got to go home first and change. And, oh yeah, where do you live? And it wound up that she lived in the same city block that I lived. In fact, it was a farmhouse that she lived in, and I lived in the garage associated with that farmhouse. That's how God ordained that intersection in that area. But I want to tell you that the first thing that she did once is actually, I think, our next time that we met. I picked her up at the front door of her house. I didn't have to drive. I just walked by, you know. And we got into conversation, and one of the first two questions she asked me was, are you a Christian? Now, I was raised Catholic, and I said, well, I'm a Catholic. She said, that's not what I said. Are you a Christian? And I know the answer she's looking for. So, oh yeah, I know who Jesus is. That's what I said. And then the second thing she said is, do you want to move west? You see, but I was from Washington State, and I was from Missouri. Now again, you know, I knew kind of what she was looking for, so I said, oh yeah, sure. And really, that was how our relationship got started. It all looked good on the outside, but on the inside, was I being honest with her, or was I everything on the outside that I was on the inside? The answer was no.
The truth is that we had idols in our lives. Okay, so you think of an idol as being, you know, some funny-looking guy with a pot belly, you know, that's sitting there, you know, or whatever. You think of those types of idols. That is not the only kind of idol that exists. We had idols between the two of us of alcohol, food, sex, drugs, and even work. Those were pretty much characterizing our idols. And through those idols, what we felt was loneliness, emptiness, sadness. In essence, it was very painful. So on the outside, here we are looking like we're the greatest couple in the world, you know, Barbie and Ken, you know. But on the inside, we were not connected. Why? Because that's what we were connecting with. We were connecting with the alcohol, the food, the sex, the drugs, the work, you know, other relationships, whatever. We were not trusting our God to be the foundation of our lives, in essence. And so that was leading to all these disturbing, horrible emotions that because you live with somebody and you see them the most of anybody else, you start blaming them. At least that's what I did. I started looking at, instead of my own idols in my life, that I, by the way, brought into the relationship, I started looking at his idols and started thinking, well, he's off doing that, he's off doing that. And that led me to have this self-righteous attitude. I don't deserve this, right? I don't deserve this. I'm a woman of God, for heaven's sake. And I deserve the very best, and I should be treated well, and I should be paid attention to, and on and on and on. And Satan is really sneaky how he gets in there with these lies and just seduces you down the tube. Because that's where I went. was essentially down the tube. At one point, I just told Mark, you're killing yourself, right? Focus on him, not on me. You're killing yourself, and I'm not going to die with you. So I'm out of here. Okay. Well, if it couldn't have been any more self-righteous, I'm not sure how that could happen. But the truth is, we both had those idols. We both had problems in our lives. So what did we do? Well, we decided that we would divorce. Because what else? I mean, what do you do when you look at each other and go, there's emptiness and pain in this relationship and I don't feel right in it. And so that's okay, you know, to go ahead and seek divorce. So I still remember the day that I went to the Crown Point, Indiana courthouse with $50, and I walked in, and there were these two janitors, okay? Two men janitors. They were sitting down, and as I walked by them, they said, hey, what, miss, you know, what are you doing? And I thought to myself, well, whose business is that? You know, what, but I thought, okay, well, I'll just tell them. So I turned and I said, well, I'm filing for divorce. And they said, oh, you don't want to do that. No, you really don't want to do that. And I said, oh, no, you don't understand. Yeah, my husband is a dirty, rotten, snotted, whatever, you know, and I want to do this. And they're like, no, you really don't want to do this. And I said for the second time, yes, I do. I really do want to do this. And they told me 3 times, you don't want to do this. And finally, I just thought, well, I'm not getting anywhere with these guys, so I'll leave them. So I turned and I walked away. I filed the papers. I paid the money. And I can tell you that it is only the grace and miracle work of God that kept that divorce paper from going through. Because Mark and I, you know, we talk about it even today as being one of the miracles along our route. We don't know what happened. All we know is that we're still married and that it never went through. So what do you think? You know, what about those guys? I think they were angels, myself. I really think they were angels, and that somehow, you know, supernaturally, they got that paper out of there, and Crown Point, Indiana got an extra $50 about a tightwad pal. But anyway, after that, I moved. Not just out of the home, but across the country. I moved from Indiana, where we lived, to Oregon. And the reason I did that is, first of all, to get out of the relationship, to get away, because I thought that was the answer. But also I went for finishing up a program that I had at the University of Oregon Counseling Center, so I finished up my training there. Interestingly enough, the program directors realized in what shabby shape that emotionally that I was. And they more or less said, if you don't get any help, you're not going to graduate from this program. How's that? So I can tell you that it was one of the hardest things I ever did to walk through the doors in the counseling office. And I thought to myself, what is wrong with you? You are a psychologist. You should be able to fix these things. What's wrong with you? And I couldn't get through the doors. But they told me in no uncertain terms, we're not going to give you the degree unless you go. And so I finally got my little fanny through the door, and I had a concerted effort of dealing with, for a year long while I was out in Oregon, with a wonderful Christian psychologist there. And I learned a whole lot about myself during that time before I ended up trying to get a job out there. And this is really amazing too. I'm trying to get a job out in Oregon because my family lives there. Okay, my mom and dad live there, and I wanted to stay in the West, right? I had told him I wanted to be West, right? So I was looking for a job there, and wouldn't you know it, if God didn't intervene again. He did not let those applications go through. I mean, we'd call and we'd go, what is going on? I got one of the most favorable write-ups from the director of the Oregon Counseling Center. There was no reason that I shouldn't be getting jobs, but I wasn't. I was missing the deadline, I was sending it to the wrong place, you know, all those kinds of things were happening. And so what I decided to do is I decided to move back where we lived in Indiana and take my job that they held for me at Purdue University's North Central campus. I was a professor of psychology there. But when I came back, I said, I'm not staying. I'm taking this job for the year, and then I'm going to be leaving. And so they believed me, and they advertised for my position, and they filled it. And so I was going to have to leave that area at some point in time. I have a confession to make, and that is that I acted like I was single. I acted like I was single. I pursued a relationship outside the marriage. And when I came back to Indiana, that person was in Indiana, I thought that I would have a better time, easier time pursuing that relationship. Well, let me tell you, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He will not bless a relationship outside of marriage. He will not do that. Why? Because He can't. He says He's not going to, and He's not going to change His mind. And so there was the inevitable crash that came with that relationship. And I can tell you that it was horrifying. It was horrible. The things that I went through, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail in that. I'm just going to tell you, if you ever have that seduction, remember God's promises, because you will pay. You will pay big time. I did. I paid big time. And at one point, I was so bad. I was in my bed, and I was thinking to myself how nice it would feel. Get how demented I was at this point. How nice it would feel to hurt myself. Seriously. And I'm lying in bed, and I'm thinking about that, and I went, what is going on? This is a spirit of suicide. I recognize this anywhere. I'm a psychologist. I'm not going to let this happen. I jumped out of bed. I went to my knees at the foot of my bed, and I said, Father, help me, forgive me. I don't want this. I want to be restored to you. I want the fullness of what you have for me in my life. And what He impressed on me that day at the foot of my bed is that you need to go and talk to your pastor and tell him what's been going on. Well, at that point in time, I was going to the Vineyard Christian Fellowship, Charismatic Evangelical Church back in Indiana. I went to Pastor Jack Ballin, and I said, I need to talk to you. And he said, okay. So I went in, and I told him everything, essentially. And he said, this is so awesome. Now you're ready to pray, and we'll just pray for you and Mark to get back together, and your marriage should be a testimony. And I went, no. And he goes, oh, okay, well, then we'll pray for Mark, that he has the same revelation in his heart, and then he gets brought to his knees. And I said, no. And he said, oh, okay, well, all right, you and I will just pray for what God wants you to do next. And I said, all right, well, I suppose I should be open to that one. So we prayed, and when we both got the same idea, and that is, you need to call up Mark, and you need to tell him what's been going on for the last 2 years of your life. And so I did. I called up Mark, and I began to explain what had been going on for the last 2 years.
And that was a breakthrough in one sense, because I had pursued her, even though she had left. I drove a van from Indiana, loaded with her stuff to Oregon. I had sent her flowers on her birthday. I tried to woo her back, but to no avail. And it wasn't, I think, until I was so angry with myself, so angry with God, and I finally let her go. I said, okay, this is it. It's over. I give her to you, Lord. And I believe it was at that time when I totally surrendered to God. And during this 2.5 years or 2 years, I had drastically changed my behavior. I got into recovery, I got into counseling, and I had gotten into a Christian walk of life where I actually turned my life over to Jesus Christ at a Promise Keepers convention. I don't know if you guys remember what Promise Keepers were. It's an all-men's convention. This was in Indianapolis. 50,000, 70,000 guys there, and they had an altar call, and I went up and gave my life to Christ. But I wasn't the miracle child. I mean, I turned my life over to God slowly. And I'm still that way. I'm not a complete surrender. I just do it little by little. And that's what God, apparently I needed that 2 years to do, to fully release Val to Him. And I believe it was at that point when I released that there was that breakthrough, and Val called me. And so I said, okay, well, let's start dating. Let's go out for a date. Let's meet. Let's talk about it.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
And it was horrible. By the time we got together, we ordered the food, ate, it was time to go. And, all we did was just kind of small talk. We didn't talk about the tough issues. And this went on for a period of time. And finally I had I was working as a popcorn breeder for Orville Redenbacher, and we were doing contract seed work on Molokai, just like they do here on Kauai. The people on the mainland send their seeds to the Hawaiian Islands, and the people on the Hawaiian Islands, they plant it, they grow it, and they create new seeds, and then they send them back. And so I had a trip coming up to Molokai, and I said, well, this is my last chance. I'll invite Val to Molokai, and we'll have more time, because there's not much to do on Molokai. We'll have more time to talk about the issues that we're not talking about. And she said, sure. And what was your thought?
My thought was, hey, what's the worst that can happen? I get a good Hawaii vacation out of this thing, so yeah, I'll go to Molokai.
So we go to Molokai, and we're not sleeping together. We got separate rooms, and we're still doing the same thing. We're not talking about the tough issues. And I got off work early and said, let's go up the Kalapapa Lookout. And the Kalapapa Lookout is it's above Kuala Pu'u, and it looks over the Kalapapa, what do you call it? Well, there's a colony. I'm trying to think of the geographic area. It's like an island, not an island, but anyway, it sticks out from the north shore of Molokai. So we were up there, and we pull up to the lookout and get out of the parking lot. You want to switch the slide?
1 minute. We pull into the parking lot and it's hot. Okay, so it's sweltering hot. And we have no AC in the car. And we are angry, fighting, all out. I still have the pink slide up because it was still really painful. And I thought to myself, Lord, this is ridiculous. I came so that I could enjoy a good vacation in Hawaii. And look at what's happening here, Lord. And I said, at this point, I really don't care. I just want to know the answer. I don't care whether we put our marriage back together or we don't. And that's the truth. I didn't care at that point. I just want to know. So we start up the pathway, right? Angry at each other, not talking, of course. And we noticed another couple coming along the ridge. And one of them was a great, big, tall African-American man, and he had a pretty tall, substantial wife. And we were looking at them, and I noticed something. I think Mark probably noticed it too. There was a cross that he was wearing. It was one of those wooden crosses around his neck. So they come over to us and they said, hey, how you doing? Small talk for a little while. And then they said, what are you doing here? And much to my horror, Mark told them what we were doing there. That we're here because we're really struggling in our marriage and we needed time together and we're trying to put it back together and it's really not going well at all.
And he goes, that's great. We're pastors from Oahu. We're over here looking for what God wants us to do. And we happen to work with couples back in Oahu. Would you mind if we work with you right now?
Did you hear that, what he just said? Say that again. It's worthy of saying over and over again.
That was a miracle, a divine appointment where he said, we are pastors from Oahu and we would love to work with you. We work with couples back on Oahu. Could we work with you now?
How does that happen? In a remote place, Molokai, Hawaii, out on the trail of Kalapapa, there's nobody there midday. They're not that crazy, to be hot and sweaty and but we are, of course, and they are, right? And they were saying, we were wondering what God wanted for us to come over here for. Now we think we know. Can we work with the two of you?
And so he said, yeah. And so he said, let's pray. We prayed. And he went really right to some core issues. And he started with small commitments. Mark and Val, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to do that? We finally got to greater and greater commitments. And he finally said, Mark, would you be willing to have Val move back in? I said, whoa. Wait a minute. We've got to talk about some of these issues. One issue, there's so many, but one issue was where are we going to live? Are we going to live in Indiana or are we going to live out west? And I said, we got to decide. And he said, great. Why don't you guys go back on the trail? We're going to pray for you here, go back on the trail and talk about it. And so we did that. We went back, after we prayed, we went back and God gave us, pretty much an obvious answer. He gave us an answer, and I asked God, would you be willing to live where we believe God wants us to live? Not where we want to live, where I live, where my parents live, but where God wants us to live. And what did you say?
And my answer at that point, my heart was ready. And I said, yes, I'm willing to let God lead us.
That was that breakthrough that we needed, that we couldn't get anywhere else. Apparently we had to be there to get that. So that was what we call our miracle of all time. We tell you that because a year later we invited that pastor and his wife back, and he celebrated, or he performed our marriage renewal. That was in 1997. So that's that picture there.
This is a picture of us up at Call Papa Lookout. What we did is we asked Clinton and Margaret Davis, who were the pastors from Oahu, to come over and perform a vow renewal ceremony. Because the truth is that what we did, in essence, over the next couple of years is we really set our marriage on the foundation of Christ. We never had it before. We called ourselves Christians. We went to church. But we never really trusted God enough to set our marriage on that platform of His promises and His truth. And so we really felt convicted that we were starting over. Not starting back where we left off, but starting over on His foundation. And the best way to represent that to us anyways was to go ahead and do a vow renewal ceremony. And that was at year 7 of our relationship.
And it wasn't just boom, boom. Like Val said, there was a lot of work that we did in between time. Getting counseling, going into recovery groups together, in home groups, just the Lord just made so many people, so many saints available to us that helped the healing process. And it didn't stop there in 1997. It even continues today, but it was just a miracle that we're together today and got to that point.
Absolutely, a miracle. And it was at year 7 that we renewed our vows, and it was such a precious thing to us that we decided together. I don't remember that this was my idea. Maybe it was Mark's idea. Your idea? Okay.
Because to me, it was just an opportunity that marriage renewal was such a refreshing feeling. Kind of like Val said, a starting over point. That I said, let's do this every 7 years. So we renew our wedding vows every 7 years.
We absolutely do. At year 7, of course, we did it over in Molokai. Year 14, we did it up at Mount Rainier and had our home group leaders from Indiana come out and perform a ceremony there.
Year 21, we did it at Salt Pond Beach Park with our pastor, Mark and Valerie.
And 28 is yet to come. That's going to be next year because we're at 27 at this point. So we'll be talking about that. We've already started talking about that.
We tell you this because the 5 love languages were one of the tools that God gave us. Like I said, God continues to restore our marriage. He continues to work on us, and that tool is still one that was a breakthrough in us. There were 3 miracles that happened for us. The miracle of me turning my life over to God. And me becoming born again. That was one miracle. The other miracle was in her life. The third miracle is that we had to learn to be married a different way. Because when we got back together, when we started dating, we were doing the same stuff that we did before. We weren't being open, we weren't connecting, we weren't doing anything the godly way. So that was what we call a threefold miracle that God gave us. Certainly, all the people along the path, Clinton and all the other people were saints and miracles. But we just count those three as the major miracles that were required for us for that restoration.
Absolutely. It wouldn't have happened without our willingness to get on our knees and receive the direction that God was going to give us in our marriage. It was so funny. Oh, it came through. I wonder if we could do that again.
I love you, man.
It says, I love you, man. Anyway, that's this is 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. The way that came into our life was really kind of cool. Mark and I were just starting on our journey together, and we decided that we needed to go to the same church. And by the way, as a psychologist, there's literature that says if you want your marriage to be divorce-proofed, there are 3 things you can do. You can go to church together, you can read the Bible together, and you can pray together. 90-something%, it's like 95, 97% of those people who will do that do not end up divorced. That's encouraging. That's encouraging to me anyway. So, anyway, we started going to church together because we weren't doing that. So we went to the Catholic Church, which we had found a Catholic church with a born-again Christian priest on the campus of Valparaiso University. Loved Father Kevin. And went to that church, but we also went to the Vineyard Christian Fellowship, the charismatic evangelical church that I was going to. And it was one of the very first times that we went to that church together that they had, for the first time ever in the history of that Vineyard church, they had an elder present the sermon. And the reason they had this elder present the sermon is because he had just attended a conference of the 5 Love Languages, and he was so excited about this. And Pastor Jack Bellin said, man, I'm excited about it too. I want you to present it. You're the one that went. You're the one that knows it. You're anointed by God to present it, so go ahead. Mark and I were unbelievably astounded. We're sitting in our seat going, this is just for us. You realize that, don't you? I mean, God orchestrated this at this time just for us. And so, just to give you a background of the 5 Love Languages, here is a scripture that tells us how come we need to learn how to speak each other's language. Okay, so 1 Corinthians 14:11 says, undoubtedly, there are all sorts of languages in the world, yet none of them is without meaning. If then I do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, I'm a foreigner to that speaker, and he is a foreigner to me. So we really do have to learn how to talk so that the other person can understand. And I know a lot of people say, well, he should just know, or Mark should just know what is good for me, and he should know how to talk to me. Well, that's, how should he know that? Is he a soothsayer? Can he read minds? But yet we believe these lies from the pit of hell because, Satan tells us, oh, if you're in love, it should just happen naturally. There's another lie from the pit of hell. It's not true. We have to learn how to love. Okay, so we need to learn how to understand each other's love languages. And just an overview, the 5 love languages that we're going to go through, and we're going to have you actually find out what your love language is too, are physical touch, gifts, affirmation, acts of service, and quality time. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of those, and we're going to, Gary Chapman designed this book. You can show him the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. He's also revised this one, and he's also got all kinds of love languages for all kinds of situations, like love languages for children, love languages for the workplace, love languages for your family, within the family relationships, because these languages are so very powerful. We're going to kind of connect this to some things from the Bible to let you know that we didn't just come, and Gary Chapman didn't just come out of nowhere with these love languages.
So we wanted to draw your attention to some examples in the Bible of Jesus using some of these love languages. For the example of affirmation, Jesus spoke words of affirmation over his disciples, such as calling Simon, which means reed, or Peter, which means rock. Or quality time. Jesus would spend time with his 12. He'd take the time to spend it with them. And often draw them aside for a season just to spend with them, alone with his guys. Or gifts. Jesus was constantly giving of himself to the people he ministered to on a daily basis. And he often gave to the poor. In acts of service, Jesus served his disciples, showing them his love for them. You look in John 13. It doesn't mean that we have to be a doormat, but on the other hand, we must understand that for some partners, what we do says much more than just what we say. And then finally, the physical touch. Jesus would, just from the example, Jesus would take children into his arms, and John would lean against his breast at the Last Supper, so there was touching there involved.
We also wanted to just remind everybody, we know that you know chapter 13, right, of 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. However, with respect to the languages of love, if we don't have this heart that God gives us in 1 Corinthians 13, then what does he call us? If we don't have love, we are a plain cymbal, right? A gong, that's all we are. We're not loving. So, just as a reminder of these different elements to love. Love is patient and love is kind. It does not envy, doesn't boast, is not proud. It isn't rude, it isn't self-seeking. It's not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs.
Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails.
Love is extraordinary. It's very complex, yet truly very simple. It starts in your heart with a desire, and it ends with an action. And what you're going to find is these love languages are demonstrations of the heart that God calls 1 Corinthians 13 love. They're choices that we make. You'll notice that nowhere in the Bible does God describe love as a feeling. You'll notice that. It's kind of weird. Because, at least in the secular world, in love, being in love, right? That fantasy, wee-wee feeling of being so high, Well, there's a physiological component to that. There's a reason that God allows that to happen. But he allows it for a purpose of connecting us. And it can be very dangerous if it's outside of marriage, but if it's inside of marriage, it can be the foundation, again, for really choosing to love each other because we feel so strongly about each other. And by the way, that high that you get, when you're first in love, finally there's research that demonstrates, we all knew this, that it fades, right? We all knew it. But there's finally research now that shows it fades. Within 1 to 2 years, it is gone. Okay? And a lot of people, right around the second year of marriage, which is what happened to us, right around our second year of marriage, we're looking elsewhere to recreate that high. Well, let me tell you from experience, God's got something better. He has something better than that high for us. So, moving into the 5 love languages, we're each going to talk about our top 2 love languages that we found out that day in the Vineyard Church. And we were absolutely astounded to find out that we had different love languages.
Can you imagine that? God put 2 different people together? We had no idea. We were clueless.
We truly were clueless. And we'll tell you some of the things that we were trying to do to love each other. And because we were not speaking each other's love language, we were speaking our own love language. That's the tendency, is to speak your own love language, rather than to learn someone else's love language and try and connect in their love language. So because we were doing that, we were missing each other, just missing the heart. So physical touch is one of my love languages. Physical touch can be really wonderful, inside and outside of marriage, if you do it appropriately. Okay? Physical touch is one of those things that Satan has screwed up so tremendously that we have to be careful how and when we touch each other. Okay? And I'm not going to go into all the frustrations I have with pornography and all, the focus. And here we are in Hawaii where everybody on the beaches walk, not everybody, but I went out to Honolulu with my friends yesterday. We went onto the pier, and I'm telling you, those girls out there, little girls with their rears just hanging out. Seriously. And I'm like, okay, I'm 58 years old. I'm not that fuddy-duddy. Am I, Lord, that, I can't receive new styles? But this is not a new style. This is a new seduction, a new trap, right? So we got to be careful about physical touch. However, it's very, very powerful, especially for people like me who grew up with a mother in particular who always was hugging us and always was holding our hands and shaking us and patting us on the back and that kind of thing. So physical touch is very important. If you are married, within the context of marriage, there is sexual intimacy, but that's not the only physical touch. Mark and I have developed a whole huge repertoire of holding hands, of hugging, of putting an arm around, of just, moving up close. I pat him. A lot of times he likes to say, you tell him what I did.
He just touches me. And before, and I'll talk about it later, but before I was like, what? And now I receive it. Oh, she's tweaking, she loves me, and she's there. But before it was, what?
Isn't that funny? See, that is true. And you'll see me at various social events and stuff that we do here. You'll see me just go by and touch him on the way by. I don't even say anything. I don't even do anything. Why? Because that's my love language, and that's how I communicate love. Just to give you a couple examples of touching outside of marriage, you can, as long as you do it at an appropriate time, you can do this kind of touch. Just if you're facing a person, they see it coming, right? They need to see it coming. And you just kind of touch their shoulder. Nothing wrong with that, There's nothing wrong with a hug of people of the same sex, right? You have to be careful of those in the opposite sex. Because of our culture, there's a lot of hugging going on. You'll watch your elders and your pastors, you watch them. They do it like this, to the side. They're doing that to model something effective for you, okay? So be careful who you touch, when you touch, and how you touch them, but use that touch. You can even ask somebody, hey, is it okay if I just hold your hand for a minute? I know you're having a rough time. One of your girlfriends, just hold her hand. You'll be amazed at how powerful physical touch can be, as long as you use it in a good way.
So the second love language is affirmation. And for me, when I first thought of this, I thought of Proverbs 18:21. Does anybody know what that is? Proverbs 18:21? Let's check it out. What does Proverbs 18:21 say? I know you guys got Bibles or Bible apps. If you want me, I'll do it. But it's a powerful one. And for me, that's one of my love languages, affirmation. Attaboy, way to go, excellent, awesome. Okay, Shirley's got it.
The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Thank you, Shirley. So life and death is in the power of the tongue, isn't it? Yeah. And for me, the affirmation is life in it. Awesome, way to go. And Val, being a psychologist, I'm not a psychologist, she has taught me something. There is a researcher at the University of Washington who studies relationships, studies marriages, and he has some statistics that says that it takes about 5 affirmations to counteract one negative. And that's true for me, because you can say, hey, boy, Mark, but boy, that's, stew that you made suck. And that will stick with me. That will stick. So for me, I need to hear a lot of affirmations. And if you know me, I do that to people. I'm an encourager. I'm always trying to encourage people. Way to go. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, that food was good. Or, so that's one clue that you can find out people's love language. That's what they do. So, for example, when you hear me doing that affirmation, that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to express my love and appreciation for her. You know, and one of the things I do with Val all the time, we kind of have this affirmation battle between the two of us. You know? I mean, she's competitive. I'm not going to let her outdo me, so I'll say, you're the best. You know? And I'll say that to her all the time, you know.
And I say, you're the greatest.
And she receives it, though. She receives it as I'm loving on her. I'm sure prior to this, she probably was like, but no. And so for me, if you say, "Hey, boy, that's great, but I need about 5 of them before you hit me with that one." Then we're all 0. So keep that in mind. That was a helpful tip because I didn't realize that either. Because I can be just like anybody. I can always find a fault, but then I need to remember, oh man, I want to build that person up, so I need to do about 5 more. Anyway, that's true for me. And so that's what the words of affirmation are for me.
The second love language that is my love language is gifts. And I know you see, a couple of wrap packages. The gifts can come in all forms. They said when we were talking about Jesus, he gave of himself. Okay, so that's a gift as well. There we see an ice cream cone. So that I do like food. Yeah, I did have a problem with food in the past, but I probably still have to battle that. But I do like it, and so sometimes Mark will surprise me by bringing something home that's tasty treat. Flowers, you can go out here pretty much and you can pick flowers anytime. You can write a note, and that can be a gift. It doesn't have to be expensive to be a gift.
Okay, and then my primary love language is acts of service. And for me, and probably for a lot of us, we probably pick up a lot of these love languages from the environment that we grew up in. And I know my parents, this was the way they showed their love for us. And my mom and dad raised 9 kids, and they were always doing stuff for us just to keep us going. And that's how I would love Val. I would love her by mowing the grass. I would love her by washing the car. Oh, boy, the car wash, That's how I, show my love. I feel like I'm doing something valuable, useful, And when I was cutting the grass, she probably was like, "Let's eat."
Well, I was thinking like, who cares about the grass, I mean, it's not a big deal to me.
But those are the types of things for me, and it could be more than just mowing grass. It could be just like that guy. Could I bring you something? You want a glass of water? Anything of service that I can help you with. That's where my heart is. Again, if you know me, that's kind of what you see me doing all the time.
He has a gift of service as well. So we here at Kauai Bible have been more than blessed by his gift of service. Yeah, absolutely. I've had to learn that, by the way, because that is not my top love language, and it is not something that I do naturally, and it is not something that I always enjoy doing. So I have had to learn how to do that. And I have learned it, because I love my husband, I love Mark, and I want him to understand that I love him. And unless I talk his love language, he's going to be having a deficit in his heart, and I don't want that. The fifth love language is called quality time. And you notice it says quality, not just time. So a lot of my clients will say, well, we're not spending much time together. Okay, so let's have date night. Well, they go out on a date night and come back and they say, it didn't work, we got into an argument on the way home. Well, explain to me what the date looked like. Well, we were sitting down and somebody called Mark, and Mark took the phone call, and I'm sitting there for about 10 minutes. So I thought, well, I'll just get on the internet. So I started getting on the internet, and I'm playing with, sending texts to my friends, looking at pictures. Then the food came, and we ate the food, and we kept playing with our pictures. What on earth? That's not quality time, right? Quality time requires that we pay attention to the person. Whether or not we say anything truly is optional in most situations. The time spent together connecting, whether you're watching each other, whether you're together, you could be watching a movie together, you could be outside, he could be mowing the lawn and I could be in a lawn chair reading a book, and every so often just connect with him by waving at him. Good job, way to go, you're mowing that lawn again. I've learned it's his love language, and I've learned to appreciate that. Living with a plant scientist, you gotta learn to appreciate the plants, even if you don't do that naturally. So quality time, spending time together, that's connecting time, putting away the electronics, that is quality time. I love you, baby. So in review, we got to speak each other's love language, and here are the 5 love languages according to Gary Chapman.
Let me just point out something that for me was helpful. And first off, just like before our destruction of our marriage, I would be out there mowing the grass. She'd be giving me gifts. She'd be touching me. I wouldn't get any information from her. Didn't mean anything. We were just stewing in our own blood. Now, I'll give her a gift. And like you said, it could be just as little as a flower or a candy bar, or a lot of you guys, sometimes I'll bring food home from the restaurant, or a cookie. That's a gift for me.
That speaks volumes. Yeah, he's thinking of me, while he's there. It's awesome. And I don't have to cook.
Or what she does for me, I so appreciate it, is just the normal stuff, whether it's cooking or washing or cleaning or any of that stuff, or just doing stuff together. And that's why I said I appreciate coming here, because this forces us to do something together, even though I think it's quality time because we're still talking about our marriage, but we're spending time together. So thanks for that. But before we didn't do that, and now our lives are completely different. And part of it is that not only does she understand it, but I can speak her language too. Just like if you do learn a language, I just want to tell you, it's difficult to learn a new language. And just to give you one example, I had a real problem with gifts. And so I had to discipline myself that if I messed up, and usually the messing up was if I was late. I said I was going to be home at 5, and I promised her this. I said, if I'm late, I'm going to give you a gift. And that was a lot of pressure. Especially the first time, now what do I do? I'm late, now what do I do? But now it's easier. But it took a lot of discipline to do that. So, we're still learning, and we still, and if it wasn't for this, I would still be probably mowing the grass without her knowing what I was really doing. But right now, our lives are so much better. And even for this class right now, even this session, it's allowed me to remember what her love languages are. Because if I don't practice them, I'm going to resort to my own love languages. And it's not only me loving her, but it's also the other way, too, of interpreting what she says to me. She'll be touching me, and I go, what? And now she does touch me, and I go, oh, yeah, I know you love me.
And I know you love me. And it didn't come out of nowhere. The truth is we've worked hard in order to develop each other's love language. And you can do that too, whether you have a intimate relationship or not. If there's someone important in your life, you can learn how to speak to them in such a way that they will understand it, they will receive it. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask your girlfriends that you want to get closer to. Ask your family members that you would like a better relationship with. It's okay to ask, what would be meaningful to you? Is it meaningful to you? And you can give them examples of physical touch, of gifts, of affirming them. Is it meaningful to you if I wash your car? Is it meaningful to you if I just take off work an hour earlier and spend that hour with you? What would be meaningful to you? People need to be able to be responsible for their own love language, and so we allow them to be responsible, we ask them, and then they will tell us how they feel.
And vice versa, you can tell them, I would appreciate if you do this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sharing with someone else that, I noticed that you keep doing this, and I would prefer that you do this, because this means a lot more to me than that does.
And, we do this all the time here on the island, but you can also just watch. If you see, like me, out there helping everybody, his love language probably help. Acts of service,
Yeah. Very good. So what we're going to do now is, if you didn't pick up one of those little tests, we'll have Mark hand out some of those tests, and I'll hand out some of them too. We have the test for your love languages, and it's not only married but also single. So Mark's going to be having the couples one, and I have the singles one. So if you're single, raise your hand and I'll get you one of these that you can fill out. And just go ahead and take the next few minutes and fill this out. What these are is they're little questions. They ask you to compare two different types of love language actions. And they ask you which one you prefer, which one do you like better. And there's an A, B, C, D, E associated with it. That's
A couple of times.
And Shirley is handing out pencils or pens if you need that. Just take a few minutes, probably take about 5 to 10 minutes to go through these and just circle the one that is more meaningful to you. And then when you're finished, you add up all the A's, all the B's, all the C's, and all the D's, and all the E's. Math, yeah. And we're here, we can help you if you get stuck. Probably, some of you are probably done, some of you may need to work on it a little bit more, and that's fine. You may be surprised at what you find. Mark and I were just a little bit surprised at what we found today. It looks like for both of us, quality time is getting a little bit more important, and I think that's because we've been quite busy. So that's something for us to understand about each other and where we are in life as a married couple. I wanted to let you know that if you want someone else to take this test, these are online at the 5 Love Languages website. And I think that I don't know if the website is on the bottom. I think it is on the very bottom of the second page, yeah. So there's the website if you'd like to go there and have someone else go ahead and take it. You can take it online, or you can print it out like we do. Perfectly acceptable to do that. That's why we printed all these out for you guys to do that. They've done so well with this, financially, that they don't even charge anymore for doing that, as long as you don't charge for it, which of course we don't. So that's really awesome. I'd like to see you guys, we're going to have to close today, and I'm going to let Mark close us in prayer. I'd like to see you guys pair up and pray for one another, just real briefly, that God will give you ways, just prompt your spirit, ways that you can use this to connect with those in your life. Because He's put people in your circle, in your life, for the purpose of connecting with them. So this is a tool that Mark and I have found works for us, but it also works for those people around us. And hopefully those of you who are in my more inner circle do feel that I know your love language and I try and speak it. But anyway, we can work on that with each other and see if we can't get our relationships to be a little bit more connected. I want to remind you that we did have chairs here today for the children. And so if you have an extra dollar to put into our little copper basket over there, you can be a part of the ministry too by blessing her, because she's been faithful to come and do that so that some of the moms can participate. So really, really appreciate you guys being here today. Sisters, you are awesome, and you can be more awesome. Yeah? We can learn. We are being transformed from the level of glory God has us on right now to the next level of glory, if we are willing. So I'll let Mark close us in prayer.
Let us pray. Lord, you created us in your image, Lord. You created us each one different and each one unique. And we just praise you for your glory, your goodness, your faithfulness. And we all reflect that. We all are an image in your image. So we ask, Lord, now that you would give us understanding both of ourselves and of those people that you put in our lives to help us to better communicate and express the love that you have in our hearts towards them. We just ask, Lord, that you would, as we go out, before we go out, we just pray with each other, Lord, and lift each other up, knowing that you hear our prayers, and that our prayers are powerful. We thank you, Lord, for your Son. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Let's thank Mark for coming today. The women's fellowship. Thank you. Yeah, really, really appreciate it. And thank you all of you who participated in the pop blessing back there. Looks like we have some snackies if you're hungry. And next week we're going to have Mandy Gibson, who will be talking about her ministry that she's been doing on the islands for quite some time. She's a missionary here on the islands doing child evangelism fellowship. So I think it's going to be awesome. She's an awesome woman of God. And so please tell your friends, take a flyer, share it with other people, and come back. We need one another. We need you. I need you.